told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match, where we talk about Married at First Sight. I'm Aysha, and I am here with my co-host, who is, to be honest, different on camera than he is off camera, Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
Asia, you know that we are recording, right? You know this is on camera.
Yeah, and I'm finally ready to talk about how
Wow.
combative you are off camera.
Wow. I just, you know what? I've put up with this enough. You know, we had these conversations off camera, like, oh, you're so different, blah, blah, blah. And now you want to come on in front of all the listeners, all the viewers, and say, oh, Jason, you know what?
You're just too worried about the optics.
You know,
okay?
you know something? I'm tired. I'm just really just sick and tired of having to deal with all this, you know?
Okay.
I'm sick and I'm ready to go. I think I'm just gonna go to my place. I mean, I'm already here, but I think I'm just gonna go. Okay, so
Good.
I wish you all the best, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. He was too concerned about the optics anyway. I started to question if he even wanted to be here. I questioned his true intentions of wanting to be here in the first place because he's so concerned about the optics.
I had decided to come back because I owed it to the listeners and the viewers to come back. So I'm not here. I'm not back for you. I'm back for them to finish this journey that we started together.
Because you care about the optics.
Is it a crime to care about how you look in front of
millions of people? I said, does he think that this is prime time television?
I said, Austin, I don't think you were paying attention to the ratings, my guy. We can legit say thousands, but not millions. I think you need to take a bigger look at that. Millions of people. I'm surprised you didn't clap. Millions of people are seeing me, and they all hate me. Austin, 9 times out of 10, people are going to walk the streets, look at you dead in your face, and I know who the heck you are. No one cares about you, Austin. You are the 883,000th person they're thinking about in their day. No one is doing smear campaigns against Austin, except for maybe a few Facebook groups out there. But other than that, you're not being walked. You're not being put on like top 10 reality TV villain lists. Okay, like that's not happening. He thinks that was happening. He thinks he's going to get such a big reputation from this. No one cares. You're going to get a few nasty DMs on Twitter.
You'll
be fine.
People are going to forget about this season as quickly as it came. Like as soon as next season comes, it's gonna be like, all right, let's get back to the concept. The concept of married at first sight, when strangers get married at first sight and then they go into an 8-week experiment and then decide if they want to stay married or get divorced. Now season 17 is strangers get married at first sight and then they just see how long they'll last.
Yeah, that's true. Like that's how, like that should be the concept of the show now. Like how long can they stick it out until they just can't take it anymore?
Really
that's last? What this has turned into. That's what this has turned into. Who will quit last? Like who will be last couple standing till they also throw in the towel? Like it's almost like a game show. Like when the second to last person cops out, they're like, all right. Michael and Chloe, you guys won the show. You made it to you are the last couple standing. Good. Here's your $100,000 check.
They're like, wow. And we started late.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, listen, other reality shows have people. Other reality shows have people come into like the middle of the season, and I can think of a challenge season that they did that on. The people came in the middle of the season, they won, got the money. Why not this?
Y'all, I mean, we had a really there was
the experts come in and like, oh my gosh, you guys, you really made it. You you stuck through it, and through all the trials and tribulations, the necklaces, the skirts. Chloe, you made it through that. Michael, you made it through her leaving you, and you guys were the last couple standing. Great job, great. Like we put all these opposites together, just looking to see how long they could tolerate each other until they just couldn't take it anymore. Like the concept of the show has switched up on us. We didn't even realize it.
We said, and we've literally been watching. It happened in front of our eyes.
Yeah, they really got us. They got us good.
Anything.
Montre, you dirty dog, you dirty devil, you.
I'm like, I'll never forget. The year was 2014. I was at work talking about Married at First Sight when it premiered to a coworker. And they're just like, oh, that show is just, it's taking away. It's how did they phrase it? They were just like, it's insulting to
the institution of marriage.
Yes. It's like, it is just a show, but if some relationships come from it, that'd be great, right? They just like, oh, they're just making a joke of marriage. Here I am in the year 2024, still watching. I've watched every season live.
It's been a decade of Married at First Sight. Can you believe that?
Wow. And this is what has happened. This is what happens when you let a show run for 10 years after many network changes. And it's not like they haven't made changes. They have made changes. One of the biggest changes was moving them all into the same place to take away from that.
Which some people would say is part of why they don't like the show anymore. Because the couples get too ingrained and too invested in each other's situations and lives. I think we see that especially in this episode where there's so much crosstalk and so much meeting of different people. But listen, I still like the show. I still think the show is entertaining. I think people think of the past of Married at First Sight a little too fondly. They're like, you remember when this used to work all the time? No, it didn't used to work all the time. We would have one couple of seasons, sometimes two if we were lucky. And that's about almost the same track record. The past few seasons have been rocky, right? But you're going to have that.
But listen, here's my issue. I know the track record has been awful. I used to keep a little PowerPoint deck of success couples. Don't. We are literally no.
Tell me you're
don't
joking,
even. We are sitting here talking about Married at First Sight, podcasting about it because we are fans of the show. So don't look at me like I'm
not keeping PowerPoint decks about successful couples. That's a little too far. That's a little too much.
Listen. Okay, that's the only way you can keep. I don't want to have to Google everything. I want things at my own disposal. I don't have to say, hey, SIRI, how many couples are still together from Married at First Sight? I just want to be able to keep track. Okay. Anywho, I knew that the success rate was low. Okay.
I mean, you could keep a notes app of like the couples, but you made a PowerPoint presentation.
I'm very yes. That's why I said
this is Jamie, and this is Jamie and Doug, the ones who started it all. You got a nice picture up there. Next slide, please. This is Anthony and Ashley. Some people call them double A.
They have 2 babies.
Yeah. You hear someone's praying, gotta update my PowerPoint. So excited. So excited to get home. Why so excited to get home, Aysha? I just heard that Woody and Amani are having their second baby. Oh my God, I gotta get home. I gotta update my stuff. I have to leave. I have to go early. Wow.
Can you not?
You think you know a person.
Look, I don't claim to be this cool cat.
Especially not saying things like cool cat.
Whatever.
Nerd.
I'm just
such a nerd.
Whatever.
A MAFS nerd. I never thought I would.
I said it used to.
Aysha.
The passion has been lost. Though, and it's because really you keep up with everybody else because of Instagram now. Like
Oh, okay.
you
Instagram
you
is your
know
PowerPoint now.
you need it. Like I don't need to know the number. I'm just loosely aware.
And this is a graph of all the downturn that MAFS has taken in the last few years.
Here are all of their IG names.
As you can see from this pie chart here, the differentials of the percentages have decreased year to year.
This couple has an 80% chance of working because they did not post a Valentine's Day post. That's worrisome.
On this next slide, you'll see all the participants and their pets. The names and photos of all the pets they have.
Anywho, in our Facebook group, we did get a really good post from Tammy Ross just about let's just regroup on the show, basically. So
let's have a fireside chat.
Right. So I appreciate you.
It's the state of the union of MAFS.
Yes. For let's level set. Okay. Let's figure out what has gone wrong. How has the show evolved into where we are today? Mm-hmm. Where we can only rate one couple today.
Man. And I think the part of the point of Tammy Ross's post was, I think the gist of it was the show is casting more characters than they are looking for genuine people that are trying to find love. They're casting characters. I think that this season kind of flies in the face of that, because I think this season is more like past seasons where you have these seemingly normal people doing crazy nonsense stuff. Now let's remember, she uses Chris from Atlanta as kind of a turning point for the series, which that's
the first season I started podcasting on this show.
Right. And in a way, we've still had more characters before Chris. Let's not forget Luke and Kate from those seasons ago. Let's not forget season 10, which was a cast full of characters. And
Monet and from season 1, Monet and what was his name?
Vaughn. Yeah, those were characters. So
here's Austin. Did you say Vaughn? Von Miller? The Von
Miller? Where? But I think this show has always had characters, right? I think the issue for me, and what I would guess is happening is there's less expert input in the beginning of the season. I think producers are finding these people, they're recruiting a lot of these people from Instagram, from wherever, and then getting this smaller pool of people to the experts and saying, here are your options to choose from. No more are we doing open casting calls, I don't think, and interviewing people in a big ballroom and being like, you would be good for the show. I think producers are finding people. They may take applications and they may be look through the applications, but I also think they're finding and recruiting people, mostly the men that they're finding and saying, okay, experts, here's your smaller group. Like the experts probably had a huge group of people that they maybe even went through themselves and was like, I think this person would be good. This person, I think producers are like, all right, here's them we got, match them. And I think the experts are having a hard time matching the people correctly because they have less people to match, and so the matches may not be all that. But let's not sit here and pretend that the experts have had this sterling track record throughout the whole of that.
Yeah, it hasn't been great success rate. It's just it's sadder this season.
It feels sad. It feels sad this season, but I feel like we say this every season. I feel like if we started from season
this is the worst of the worst. We shouldn't have to say, why are one couple's done. Why are 3 of these couples of 5, the only other one is still going? And why are the 3 couples going to decision day?
We've never had a season where we're like, why are we having a decision day? There's nothing to have a decision about. All these people are done. With the 3 couples that we're going to get on decision day next week, they're all done. How can there be any yeses here? Which I mean, listen, we'll talk about it.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean,
but listen,
that was our state of MAFS conversation.
Right. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed.
Yeah.
15 minutes in.
We like the show, I swear.
Go subscribe. That's where you can get the current coverage of season 6 of Love is Blind with Jason and Mary. And then, of course, all of our pods are there. So make sure you go subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. We will shout out a couple today. This one's from Wintrix. It says, love Aysha and Jason. These two are lightning in a bottle. The funny chemistry they have and the good-natured teasing always makes me laugh. I love Aysha because, well, what's not to love? She is beautiful inside and out. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Jason has amazing emotional intelligence, especially for a man.
Hey, what can I say?
A man. Why do men? And is able to not only interpret each couple's situation, but can express each couple's situation. And is not only able to interpret each couple's situation, but can express it in such a clear way. I don't want him to get a big head, but his wife is so lucky.
That's right. Listen. Oh, no, keep going.
After I watch the show, I can't wait to listen and see if they feel the same about the show as I do, especially since this season is so confusing. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this is my favorite. I wish they would work together to recap other shows. We can talk about some other stuff.
Hey. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about when we go through. I saw a commercial for something that is very... I've been watching these Lifetime commercials, and there's something else.
You have?
Yeah. But listen, Wintrix, my wife wants to fight you because she thinks that you may have something for me because I showed my wife this review. Like there's some reviews I'm just like, all right, I gotta show her this. And when she's like, do I need to find this person? Like, do I need to what's going on here? Like what? She did the whole finger thing at me. Like, what is this? What's going on?
She said, what you talking about on the Married at First Sight podcast?
I said, she said you were lucky to have me. Is that a compliment? Like,
She's like, how does she know?
She said you might not be finding internet girlfriends out there.
Oh, that's
my wife doesn't listen to this podcast, so she has no idea that I'm emotionally intelligent. She has no idea that
that's so funny because she watches the show.
She does, but she does. She's not a podcast person.
She has really no idea you have emotion.
She has no idea I'm emotionally intelligent. She has no idea I know anything about relationships. She has just no idea of how smart and how in touch with my emotions and feelings I am.
She would listen to this and be like,
"Who is this?
You?
Who is this man?
What are you reading off of?"
I don't know this man.
Different on camera and off camera. I said it.
There you go.
What's the other one?
Oh, sorry. I got to do it. This one is from Issa Karina. It says episode 13 recap. The latest recap was my absolute favorite so far. Haven't laughed this much listening to a podcast. Keep up the amazing work. You guys are literally keeping Married at First Sight alive because the show became unwatchable. Yikes. Again, listen, you hear that, Lifetime? We are keeping this show afloat. Pay us. Get us on your shows.
I will send you my Venmo.
Call me. Like, where you at? We're keeping the show afloat. Okay.
I'm like, I keep my lines free just so they could call.
I got a special Lifetime hotline phone. Like, I'm waiting for it to ring. Call me. Get us a special. We would kill that. We would kill it. Kill it.
Did you, speaking of specials, did you watch the Decision Day dish?
I did not.
I couldn't even bring myself to turn it on in the background today.
Listen though, the cast was boring. Like, why would I watch that? Jessica and Austin, what are they gonna bring to me? There's no entertainment there.
It's Keith and
Christine?
Christine, yes. Mirla.
Keith and Christine, okay. Black love, all for it. Boring. Okay.
Yeah, they're just not the biggest personalities.
Right.
Yeah.
Mirla, Chris from Boston, why would you assemble this cast? Like, I where did you get these?
They said who's free?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. There's no spice there for me.
They put in the group text. They picked the first 3 people that hearted it.
Listen, you want me to watch these Give me people that are on opposite sides. Give me a Steve and Lindsay. Give me a Lindsay and anyone, because I mean, it's kind of give me a Lindsay and Alyssa on the same couch, right? Like, give me that. Give me some spice. Give me some argument. With these people, there's no spice. It's just plain. There's no seasoning here.
Give me like an Alexis and Justin. Let's catch up on them individually. Congrats to Alexis, who is engaged now. That's amazing news.
I mean, in case you hadn't heard out there in the streets, I think we touched upon it when we found out. Alexis engaged to a woman. So yeah, she recently told us that she was bisexual. So this attracts.
Told us.
She did. She announced it.
Told us. You said it like she texted us.
Well, I mean, when I say us, I mean the royal us as a audience,
the collective us
that care about Alexis. So yeah, congrats to her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Jamie and Doug from season 1 also announced they are pregnant with their 3rd child, I think.
What? So that season, like, I know I just said it was in 2014, but it feels so much longer ago because there's so much reality TV that started like early 2000s. It feels like, dang, there's still having kids.
It feels like a 2009 show. Like if you ask me random, like, when did Married First Sight? I'd be like 2009. It just feels like the 2009 show.
Yeah. But yeah, I know we have taken up a lot of your time so far. So we are gonna go ahead and get started. Oh, real quick, make sure you go join the Facebook group. We this week you can find us at A Perfect Match Podcast. That's what I was gonna tell you. I finally was able to listen to the Love is Blind podcast today. If you say podcast, it's way easier to find. If you search Perfect Match, a lot of stuff comes up. If you search A Perfect Match Podcast, we're the first ones.
Okay, Aysha, admonishing me.
I wasn't going to remember to tell you after.
Admonishing me on the podcast. Okay. All right. You're really coming at me on the recorded podcast thing. I don't know what's going on. On camera.
I was definitely going to forget.
It's really coming
in an hour and a half. So anyway, go look us up on Facebook, A Perfect Match Podcast. This week, the password is
Penelope.
Just a really adorable name for things.
Adorable name for a nasty, use of a product.
Right. Correct.
I don't want to think about what Penelope's gonna have to go through. I
know. Is that a common name these days?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So,
all right, Penelopes, don't come at us.
The one Penelope.
My name is Penelope, okay, and I am something years old, okay. So it is still a common name. All right, Penelope, we get it. Sorry.
Right. Name's Penelope, but I go by Nelope.
I feel like that's a TikTok thing, and I don't want to ask about it.
No, I just think it's so funny when people go by like what you wouldn't predict to be the nickname, like
Penelope, aka Lope.
No, like I know someone named Gabrielle, not the Gabby I always mention on this podcast, but I know someone named Gabrielle, but she goes by L. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It's extremely interesting.
Right. Like if I was Aysha, I mean I am, and I go by like Ja. Yeah. Or
my name's A.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like my whole family calls me A.
Well, that was bad.
That is actually my nickname.
If my name was On, just call me On.
On, yes. Okay, let's talk about Becca and Austin. What a rough episode this was for them, honestly.
I mean, it was kind of a rough episode for everyone, except for, well, I mean, when I say everyone, 2 couples of the 3.
All of the couples. So Becca and Austin, they're doing an activity, right? We know like it didn't end on the greatest note last episode, but it ended on, Austin wants to try. So they're going to do pottery. And we get a confessional from her. She says, decision day is coming up. There's still so much to figure out, but she doesn't even know if he likes her off camera. And she said at this point, she just doesn't really know who he is at all. So she tells him like, okay, I feel like we have a lot of deep combos. Like when we do have a lot of the deep combos, it's only on camera. And she's like, and I'm unsure if you like really like me. He's like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. He's like, I just need you to trust. Like when I say that I do like you, because I do really like you. And if I were Becca, I know I would be annoyed because I'm Aysha and I'm annoyed. Every time she says something, she is specific in the times that she is specifically looking for validation. He does not know how to respond. He's just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you feel that way. I do like you. It's just like, I know in his head, he's like, what else am I supposed to say?
Well, I mean,
But it's like, she wants him to express his feelings for her. When all he's doing, like, it's, I don't know.
He said he likes her. What else?
That's not what she's looking for.
I just don't think
He
Austin
doesn't show it.
Austin is not the monologuing type. Probably on camera or off camera. He barely talks on camera. So
you know who is? Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
Match Michael with every girl on this cast.
Michael should get Michael should just come in. Michael should be the interpreter. Austin should say, "I like her," and then Michael be like, "Well, you see, Austin has deep emotional, really great feelings towards you. He loves I don't even know how to explain how to say what Michael would say, but he would take what Austin tells him and just stretch it out to a 5-minute soliloquy so that Becca can understand how Austin feels.
Right. And then when Michael can't translate, she's going to be so disappointed. It's like, I'm not getting it.
You just have to keep Michael with you at all times.
Just in her pocket. And so she says, she's like, it's one of those things, like, believe what people do, not just what they say. And she's like, and he's like, well, I do like you. And she's like, I know you like me as a person. I just don't know if you like me in that type of way. I do like you in that type of way. He's like, I'm so exactly. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm just not good at expressing that to you. He said, but what all the guys this season love to do, Pastor Cal, love bringing up the experts. Pastor Cal did say we need to have trust in the little things. And the little things have been going better. She was like, yeah, the other day I asked you to keep the washer door open and you didn't say anything back. So, normally that wouldn't have gone over very well. And he's like, well, that hurts me to hear you say that because I don't think I disagree in a poor way.
I said, what? In this moment, I said, I was kind of taken aback by this. She's like, you didn't say anything back. So the man can't say anything. He can't express his opinion at all.
I think she should have said, I think what she meant, because I am definitely on Becca's side here. And I'm curious to hear your perspective based on a little of our pre-show talk. I do feel like she meant you didn't give me any attitude.
Right. But I'm wondering what is attitude in Becca's mind, because I don't think we've heard enough of because we hear Austin, in the apartment cam later. And from what Austin says, I can't picture Austin being like a jerk to Becca.
If Becca was watching this, she'd be like, oh,
yeah, that's the problem.
Didn't show it.
That's the problem.
I do feel like that one scene that we will talk about, that wasn't the one to show. Right. It's like it didn't support anything that Becca said.
But is it there? Is my question. Or is Becca?
Well, she said in that moment, you're not being combative. Yeah, so we're like, okay, so we still don't have an example.
Right. I want to see the example because I want to judge for myself. Is Austin being this way? Because we do have another instance that you're about to talk about where I'm reading this, I'm just like, I don't know. So I'm really wondering what these combative arguments they have, what it's really like, because I feel like she patted him on the head for oh, you didn't say a word when I told you to do something. I was like, and I was kind of on Austin's side where he's like, you told me about your exes being pushovers, and it seems like you kind of want me to be one, because I think in Austin's mind, he's like, why can't I express my opinion about why I think the washer door does need to be left open, and why would that be such a bad thing if I had an opinion about that.
This felt like a very inappropriate time to bring that up, though, about her exes, because that felt like of something vulnerable she probably shared about like past relationships, what she's learned from those.
Well, I feel like she told him that on camera in front of us, like on the honeymoon. I feel like that subject was broached on the honeymoon.
Yeah,
But
I was like, I wasn't a huge fan of that. I was like, ugh.
well,
It
I
just
think it was
felt
the way that she said, "Well, I told you about the washer door and you didn't say anything, so that was good." Like if I was Austin, I'd be like, but damn, I'm not allowed to say anything. Like I'm not allowed to disagree with you at all.
I mean, it sounds from like the bag situation from last episode. It sounds like what she doesn't like is him being passive aggressive
Mhm.
and not being direct. Like I don't like what you're saying. I don't think Austin is, or I mean, obviously we don't know, but I don't think that he is being like Brennan. I
Right.
don't think he's doing that by any means, but I do think that he is clearly showing that he dislikes whatever's happening, because we clearly can tell he doesn't like being told what to do by her, and that's how he
Yeah.
feels. He feels belittled. He feels like she's always telling him what to do. He feels like she's bossing him around, and he's probably handling it like a little. I'm not saying he's immature, but he's probably handling it how teenagers would handle, like,
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, as a father of a teenager, well, let me tell you, that crap is real annoying. Real annoying.
So you understand Becca.
Yeah, and I think was it was either last podcast or podcast before you, I feel like you hit the nail on the head when you were like, Austin's mom seems like a real, alpha in her relationship. And I'm sure that there were times back in the day where Austin and his mom had some moments.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if Austin is seeing his mom and Becca. But I just want to see what these things are, because I didn't like it when she was like, "Yeah, I told you about this. You didn't say anything." So like, almost as she's like, "Good boy," like she patted him on the head, like,
right.
"You didn't say a word. You just did what I said." I was like, "Okay, I should be allowed."
But she's probably like, he don't touch that thing but once a month, so he don't know
like,
how it operates.
Yeah, I was surprised he wasn't like, "Well, I'm not used to it, so I just wasn't sure."
Right. Yeah. She's like, wait, I know this is your first time operating the washer since we moved in here. Let me help you out.
Yeah, but I would just like to see if he had an opinion about the washer door. How would he express that? Which I think is where our issues are, where we're not sure. Like, is he
Right.
expressing it in a way where we would see it and be like, okay, that's normal? And is Becca taking it as like, oh my God, did you see what he said to me? Like, I would love to see that in action. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So she says that she feels like when he disagrees, he's combative. And she said he always feels like he needs a reason why for things. So that does sound like she tells him what to do a lot.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to get into these long-winded answers.
Right.
Like,
I don't want to explain what I said, what I'm trying to tell you to just do what I say to do.
Yes.
Okay?
And that was the moment. I was like, am I tripping? Like, it's like, I feel like I don't like these answers from Becca, because again, and you said it, it's like a teenager. Like I talk to my teenager, and when I say things, I don't want to be like, I don't want a lot of pushback, and that's what it feels like. Like I was like, okay, this is a very interesting dynamic here.
It reminded me of this TikTok. This woman has these two adorable little boys. One is probably like 2 and the other little boy is like 5 or something. The 2-year-old is like, "Mommy, please, like I want more ketchup." And she's like, "No." And the little boy said, "Mom, when we say please, just do it. Just do it."
Listen, it's like a give and take. I'm being polite, just do what I said.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't have to be a big thing.
That video has like millions of views. I definitely followed them after that.
That is so real. That is
Yes.
very real.
It's so let's see. So he does bring up a thing about her past boyfriends. He doesn't feel like she wants him to think for himself. And she's like, "No, it's not I don't want you to think for yourself. I just want you to think of us." And so like I feel like she just she's obviously having a tough time communicating it in a way that it resonates with Austin. But what it does feel like is she's lacking that feeling of consideration. Like, she doesn't think that Austin is ever thinking about her best interest in anything. Just like, okay, I'm thinking, she's just looking for that thoughtfulness and she's not getting that in any aspect. And so then it feels like, I just feel like that's not just being communicated clearly to him. And so he's not getting it. And so she says, maybe I'm asking for too much. She was like, sometimes I sit here and I think about, I don't want you to feel any sort, I'm not asking you to be passive. I'm not asking anything like that. Maybe I truly am just asking for too much. Then it was weird because it gets silent. It's one of those moments that you don't typically have on camera. Because it's like a point of a scene that doesn't really move anything, but it was included on purpose. So Becca was like, okay, I'm cold. I'm going to, she gets up. She's like, I'm going to grab your jacket because it has fleece on it. Mind you, they are doing pottery. So she gets up. She's like, I'm going to get your jacket because it has fleece on the inside. And he was like, he laughed. He said, okay, get mine dirty. She paused, turned around, put his jacket back, grabs her jean jacket, comes and sits down. And she's like slowly putting on her jacket. She because her hands are dirty. So she's like trying to avoid the arms while she's putting her arms in her jacket. He's like, you can wear my jacket. I was just saying I'd appreciate it if you wash your hands before.
Now,
well, okay, let me finish it. And so she sits down. She's like, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't hurtful. And she's like, because if it were me, if it was something you needed, I wouldn't care if it was going to get a little dirty, something we could just wipe off later. He was like, well, I think it's unfair I don't think it's unfair of me to ask you to wash your hands, because he's like, you're making me look like beep. End scene.
Yeah. So when she went and grabbed his jacket, she said, okay, I'm gonna grab your jacket. He was like, okay, yeah, sure, get mine dirty. Like, the way I took it, joking, like not being crazy, like don't you dare touch my jacket.
You know what the problem is, though? They're not in a mood to be joking.
Yeah, yes.
They're in this serious conversation. And so for her, it's because she says it's not because the part, I forgot to write that part down. She was like, it's not just that. It's everything like adding on top of each other, right? This is what I think it was. I don't think it's way deeper than the jacket. It's not, oh, hee ha ha. It's the fact that I'm sitting here telling you that I don't feel that we are in a good place. I don't feel like our relationship is in a good place. I feel like we're in just a very weird space right now. And you have the ability to be hee hee ha ha joking around. So you're obviously not taking this, like, what I just said is not registering at all, for one. Two, I'm just trying to grab your jacket. You only wash your clothes once a month anyway. Okay?
Yeah, and I just watched that 2 days ago, so now I'm gonna have clay on it for another 28 days.
Three, she's feeling like he's just not. She's feeling like it's one thing after another. So she's just like, this is as silly as I'm just trying to put on his jacket. It may get a little dirty. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like it was an overreaction. I do feel like it could have just been like, because actually, if I'm annoyed with you right now, I'm actually going to put it on.
So, and they just put your hands all over the jacket, like,
right. So
see that?
What were we talking about?
Put your hands in the pockets, put clay in the pockets, like.
Actually, let me just.
Yeah. You go with your little pottery wheel thing. You just lay in it and you roll around in it.
What were you saying about get yours dirty?
Oh no, I think I got a little clay on your jacket there, Austin. But she made a whole scene out of this, and I was like, Austin's like, oh yeah, sure, get mine dirty. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, even in a serious conversation, bringing in, this was an ounce of levity I felt like from Austin. I feel like Austin wasn't serious. He wasn't going to throw a hissy fit if she actually put his jacket on. But then she took it. She was like, oh, okay. Slowly takes the jacket, puts the jacket back, slowly puts her own jacket on. And then we turn to kind of martyr Becca, where she's like, oh, well, if it was me, I would have let you wear my jacket. And I don't care if it was dirty or not, but I guess you don't care about me like I care about you. Like, come on, stop it.
You made this. Worry about me ever asking for your jacket again.
Never again, buddy. Like, dude, like you made this into such a bigger thing than it needed to be. He was
because,
but then he got
that deep for her.
But it don't need to be. Like, I feel like I don't know if this is. I guess it is a situation that's made her ultra sensitive to everything. Yes. Because that's what this felt like to me. I was like, all right, come on. He was obviously like playing, but then he did get a little serious. He's like, well, I mean, I did want you to wash. I want you to wash your hands.
That's why I'm saying, like, I don't. Well, I haven't said this yet, but that's why I kind of don't think he was joking. He was like trying to make light of. He actually did want her to wash her hands before she touched his jacket, which. Hey, I wouldn't want clay on my stuff either, know.
Right. But I don't think he was gonna throw a hissy fit if she actually put it on. I don't think he would have been like upset or combative. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't think that would have been the case. I just think he said something kind of in jest, and he's like, well, I mean, as long as we're talking about it, like, I kind of would have been nice for you just to wash your hands before you touch my stuff. But whatever. I just think I think that she took it and made it like 10 times bigger than it needed to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because I think for her, it's like, she's already just being pushed over the edge beyond where she feels like she's compromising in so many ways because of how she's trying to adjust to what he's comfortable with. She's trying to adjust to how he can be in a relationship. And so that was just like, it literally could have been a thing where he had they brushed past each other and he accidentally bumped her. She'd be like,
oh. she like falls on the floor like, oh my God, you pushed me.
It literally would have been anything. It could have I'm trying to think of the calmest comparisons, but literally anything. Because for us, obviously, we're not in this relationship. And so we're like, it's just a jacket. It's just a jacket. But her in it, it's way more than a jacket. It's not.
But I don't.
And that's the problem. To Austin, it's just a jacket. And so they're just like in such different places in the relationship because she's like, how is it just a jacket to you? When
and I think
can't even get on the same page.
I think in Austin's mind, he's like, oh, here we go. Like she's making me look the bad guy again. Like I was joking, and she's gonna make it into something that it's not. I think that's what it is. That's what is in Austin's mind in this moment.
Yeah, they're just way.
They're both
different books.
They're both like, see, this is what I'm talking about in their own minds.
They both look at the camera.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yes. So, so then we do get the Nest camera, which
it's back.
We haven't gotten that from them this season. Okay. We didn't even know they were set up in the apartment this season. Apparently they are.
They just forgot until this. They're like, you know what we didn't do this week, this season. Right. We didn't put on those Nest cameras. Like, oh my God, do we want to put it up now? I mean, I guess there's only a few days left of the decision day, but maybe we can catch something good.
Maybe.
like man, we should have had this all season. Right. We catching some good stuff. Do you see that stuff on the Michael and Chloe camera? Catch that out. Oh my goodness. He gets some good stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yes, because why? This episode, why did we get 2 Nest cameras?
2.
And we've been begging for some what's happening off camera. We needed that with Brennan. We've needed that with Austin. We've needed that with Cameron and Claire. Because it was just like, give us some more context.
Because there's some wild accusations being thrown out by Cameron and Claire that we needed some behind the scenes on.
Right. And only told on After Party. So we look at the Nest camera and she says, okay, so you said you didn't like the way I'm making you look on camera. And you're upset that I made it look, you're more upset about how I made you look rather than how I'm feeling. And he's like, I think it's just unfair to characterize me as a terrible person. Which is
no one has said that. No one
literally.
no one has said you are a terrible person. You are making this a bigger deal than it needs to be, Austin. Like you are making yourself like a bad person by trying to defend yourself from being a bad person so bad. That is what's happening here. You are just blowing this way out of proportion, which is something they both like to do. And it's like, you're doing more harm than good with these talks here, Austin. If you just left it alone, it'd be fine. Right.
It literally is just in these moments, it's like he's taking what she's saying. He's like, whoa, these are some accusations, okay? Why are you making me look this way? Rather than, well, let me hear what you're saying. Okay, that's untrue in my opinion. So let's get on the same page so you can understand how I do feel about you, how I do care about you. It's just like he's focused on the wrong part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's turned it into I'm not the bad guy, rather than, are you hearing what she's saying? Like the fact that she doesn't think you like her.
Right. That's the main point of her issue here. And to hear the word combativeness, which I think in that previous conversation, he brought up the word combativeness. He's like, do you think I'm combative? And she's like, yeah. And now he's like, you said I'm combative. You said I'm this and that. And it's as if he heard in his mind that she said, well, he's verbally abusing me every night and day. Like no one has said that. She says there's some things that you say that she does not like, that she doesn't appreciate the tone or the way you say it. That's what she's saying. And he is just taking it to be like, you're saying I'm the scum of the earth.
At all.
Not at all. He's not listening. You said I'm a scum of the earth. You said I'm abusive. No one said that, man. Like no one's coming after you. No one's trying to make.
I hate you.
Yeah.
No, I just said you didn't like me.
There's a difference.
Right. So he said whenever he has an opinion that's different than hers, she knocks it down. Then we get a flashback, which I didn't really feel like supported this statement, but it was talking about like her. It was her saying, it was the flashback of her sitting with Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper about her saying like he's combative, off camera basically. And so he was like, do you think I'm being combative? She's like, I don't know. I don't think you're being combative right now.
You think I'm being combative now?
Right.
Like, a little bit.
All right. And he's like, well, this is what millions of people are going to see about me. Well, then show your wife you care about her then. She can't make stuff up out of thin air. These
two boys, Brendan and Austin, are like two peas in a pod at this point. I didn't think we would get to that. But here we are in episode 19, where Austin is almost stuck into the level of Brendan here. Like, okay, if you don't want to be seen in something, don't do it. Like,
yeah.
Own your actions, own your words, own how you are. Now, Austin's like, I am owning how I am. She's just twisting how I am. Right. Maybe Brendan even thinks that of himself. I don't know. But if you know the issues, Austin, you know what's up. You don't, show her affection off camera. You admitted that. You know that about yourself. So own it.
Yeah, he said he then goes and sits by her on the couch. He says, he's like, he feels like she's always trying to make him look bad on camera. and
well, she says that she told him, well, it hurts that you care more about the optics than me. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, I care about both. Oh, that's not the answer. That wrong. That was not what we were looking for. We were looking for, no, I care about you way more than I care about the optics.
I actually care about both equally.
Yeah, that's what he said. Like, no, I care about both. Oh, sir, no.
She said there's been so many things that she's stayed quiet about behind the scenes. And he's like, okay, what's the solution? She's like, I don't know. She gets up, goes to the bedroom.
I mean, my goodness.
I know.
It's crazy how I can swing from Team Austin to Team Becca so fast and easily. Like they're both so wrong in so many ways to me. You're
Yeah, I'm all
strictly
for
team
women's
Becca.
rights and women's wrongs. So
Yeah.
I just
Fair and balanced says who?
So yeah, so we have um so we get them talking to each of their friends. So Austin's talking to his friend Derek, and Becca is talking to her friend. I can't remember her name.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. So Austin and Derek, so Austin's saying he feels like sometimes like she expresses her feeling when she expresses her feelings, they are more harsh than deserving. He's like basically like, okay, I'm not acting like I care about you, but like not that like it's not that bad. I'm like, at least I'm acting like I like you a little bit. I may not be acting like I like you a lot, but then he just feels like there's a lot they are compatible on. And he thinks there is a lot of good in the relationship, but lately there's just been a lot of bad. So it's hard to see through. I really didn't take away any useful feedback from Derek.
No. Derek was like the onion of Friends. So, where he told Cameron like, well, if it's not for you, you gotta get out. He's like, Derek's like, well, if you don't, if she doesn't like you who you are, then she don't like you.
Yeah.
Be gone. Like, that was basically his
Right.
thing.
So Becca is with Lindsay, and Becca explains the conversation where he didn't like how she was calling him combative, and she was like, I'm just finally being honest on camera. And she's like, we're just each triggering each other in certain ways, and neither of them feel heard. And Lindsay's like, well, throughout the entire process, like you should feel desired. So these are red flags. Like, this is the moment you should feel the most desired. And she was like, and if this was me, you would tell me that this is not my person. I feel like that might have hit Becca a little bit. Like, whew, you're right. You are so right.
It should have, but I think
It should have. It should
I
have.
think the conversation here hit another person in a different way.
He said, what?
He said, "Oh, you talking sense right now."
It should have hit her harder. I feel like it hit
should've.
her in that moment, but it was kind of just like, but we're married, so let's see.
Yes.
And Becca starts crying. She doesn't want to be hard on him, but she can't keep pretending. We get a 1 day until decision day. I said they're hurrying this week up. When they said decision days in 7 days, they meant in real time, because I was like, in any other season, we'd have about 3 more episodes before then. They
Like,
said,
zoop, 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 let's go.
7 days this week.
We would have
next week.
We would have everybody meeting their friends and family for one more big pep talk. Before decision day, they would be talking about their decision. Like, what do you think? No one talked about their decision here. No one even like got advice from their people on their decision. They got advice on like their current fight, but we would have a whole episode with the lead up to
family and
day.
friends, and like there was a season we were like, we might as well make the family and friends part of the cast at this point.
Yeah,
because we seeing them all the time.
Like, typically on a episode before decision day, we get this big rigmarole, right? Of like last date before decision day, all the friends and family before decision day. But we are in such bad, like we're in such a bad place here. We didn't get any of that. We didn't get the last night before decision day where I'm leaving to go to my place before decision day. I don't know what my decision will be, but I'll see you there. We get the longing kiss, the big, like, I'm leaving now. Bye. One person stays in the apartment, one person goes to their place. We didn't get any of that. Now we got some departures, but it wasn't because
right.
It's decision day.
Right. So we had this one day until decision day, and we get word from Becca that 4 hours ago Austin moved out. He packed up his stuff. He put it in a box. We get a flashback of that. He said she felt like they were in an okay place. An Oakley place.
Oakley?
Oakley?
Stop. No.
She felt like they were in an okay place before she went to talk to Lindsay. But then after, she felt like something shifted, and she felt like he was no longer happy. And she said he was really worried about the optics of him on the show. And with him being so concerned about the optics, she started to question like the reality of their relationship, because she's like, okay, was everything that we've experienced because you wanted to look good, or because you actually at some point actually liked me? Which I think that's a fair thought.
Yeah,
And
I
so
do.
yeah. So she's just sad because she does love him. She did want to make this work. She still has a crush on him like she used to. So yeah, she's just at the apartment. So now we got 3 single women at an apartment.
Listen, maybe Austin doesn't know how it works, but you just had to stick it out for another few hours, and they could just be like, "Well, we're parting ways till decision day." Bob, he's
He
like, "No,
said,
I
"I'm
can't take it.
gone."
I can't take it anymore. I can't take one more second." Do you think producers massaged this a little bit? They were like, "This is our normal people leaving before decision day, but let's ramp it up a little bit. Let's
Right. You
put
want to
some
leave
drama
early?
into it." Austin thought he was just leaving as as you do. I was like, "Oh,
Right.
this is right
They said,
before
we're
decision
really
day."
gonna mess up these optics.
Yeah, like this is for decision day, right? This is what we do. You know, they're like, yeah, Austin, sure, yeah, you just what you think. We're gonna make this into something else. Because also, like, we didn't get any input from Austin about this. Like,
Yeah. We
why
didn't
are
get his
you leaving,
perspective.
Austin? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Like,
Because
it
if y'all filmed him packing his box,
yeah,
then
there's
y'all
got to
were
be something
there.
else going on.
Yeah.
Weird
Yeah, that was weird.
conspiracy theory corner over here.
So that's it. Looks like they're done. Unless there's a change of heart once Austin gets home, and maybe he misses her a little bit or something, because we still have decision day to come. We still saw them. We still see that there are 3 couples at decision day. Cameron and Claire, Emily and Brennan, and Becca and Austin are at decision day. So based on this, it feels like the answers would be no for both, or maybe, well, no, I don't think Becca would say yes.
Becca does say, what did she say? She said something that made me think she might still be a yes. I think it was when she was talking with the group of ladies at Emily's apartment. I think
Gotcha. Yeah,
she
let's
says
see.
she said something about he told her that the reason that their relationship is messed up is because all the cameras, and she said something about I can't wait for it to be easier once the
Without
camera.
the cameras.
Yeah.
Girl, watch any season. It gets worse. So, yes, I forgot about her little piece that the girls get together. So she just said it's very hard to be separate on camera and off camera. And she was like, it's the little things, like when she's changing clothes, he just walks by her.
Mhm.
She wants him to, like,
So I
she didn't
feel
say
up on
this.
her like, oh girl, let me get some of that.
Right.
Like I do with my wife. I mean, listen, she got a point. She got a point.
She wants some type of acknowledgement while she's sitting there changing. And then also when she's looking in the mirror, put on her makeup, he doesn't even look at her.
I was like, okay. So
She wants him to admire her, which this is, I get the overall feeling, but this is also married at first sight. Like, he didn't see you and pursue you. This is a situation where y'all were strangers. You have to deal with what you have, whether that person is your type or not. And so I'm not knocking that desire from her anything. Like, that is totally fair feeling to want that. It's hard because it's like it's a different situation.
Mhm, truly. And I floated this by you pre-show, but I said, I know this is a no Love is Blind zone, although you did reference Love is Blind, okay? I said, I wonder how much of a comparison this is to a Jimmy and Chelsea on Love is Blind this season. Whereas we see Chelsea, who is very kind of needy. I'm not saying that Becca is to the level of Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying she might be in the orbit of Chelsea in the same way they're kind of acting and reacting here. But I do think Austin's constant, like, not rejection, but refusal to go beyond a certain stage, maybe
Mm-hmm.
feeding way more into this than Chelsea is, who Chelsea's kind of validation needs kind of feed from her own issues. I think maybe that's where the difference is here, but it feels kind of similar in that vein to me.
Yeah, I think that for me the difference is Becca doesn't come off as insecure as Chelsea.
Mhm.
Um and Chelsea is always seeking that validation or that. And and for us, obviously, it looks like that with Becca. But I think if his action, like if the actions were of Jimmy, I don't even
Becca
because
would feel
Jimmy is
satisfied.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't feel like if Austin was doing 75% of what Jimmy has been doing with Chelsea, whether it's like genuine or not, I feel like Becca would be like, this is great.
Yes. Yeah. So I think what I'm getting at is that what Austin is doing is making Becca do this is part of why Becca is doing this. Chelsea's doing this based off of her own issues. And of course, yes, Jimmy does do boneheaded things to help feed that. But, like you said, if Becca was getting even part of what Jimmy's given, she would be fine. She wouldn't have these issues. I think no matter who you put Chelsea with, she probably would have those issues.
Right. Oh my goodness. Imagine if Chelsea had Austin. Ooh, she would try. She would try so hard to get a rise out of him.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks. See, you got some Asia Loves Blind takes. So
a little bit, a taste.
There you go. Little something.
Right. All right. Which couple were you talking about? Or yes, which couple?
Do you want to give prediction on decision day, or
since it's next week, I guess. Yeah. Then maybe I think Austin could have a change of heart. It's just really hard to see. And it also is hard to not see Becca have even more clarity with him leaving, being like, yeah, this ain't it. So I'm going to say, I'll say, I don't know what's happening with my camera. Are you seeing that? Looks like it's it's lightning over here. Yeah. It's not lightning. Maybe I'll say Becca says yes and Austin says no.
I could weirdly see this being a double yes for some reason. I don't know if it's a conversation off camera that'll be like, all right, listen, I'm willing to try this past decision day. We can just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they came to that kind of realization, that kind of talk, because there was that talk from Becca like, well, he said it was the cameras and I can't wait for it to be easier. So I can see her being like, maybe things get better after cameras. Why not try it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think a lot of our people do more recently in these recent seasons.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna go out on a limb and give a double yes here.
Ooh, a double yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Well, now as far as our ratings, as far as to the reunion, it's a 1, because I don't think even with the cameras gone that it's gonna get any better.
Yes, I don't. Yes, I think if they do stay together, there's no way they're together by the reunion, especially with how they are in After Party. I feel like of the couples, I mean, like if we don't count Cameron and Claire, we're really we're talking about scraps at this point. Like when we say couples, we're talking like 2 couples, a couple of couples. I think they have been acting the most like they're not together.
I mean, not the most. I think Emily and Brendan act like they're the most not together.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Emily is upset on After Party.
Yes.
Usually. That's her standard. All right. Which couple next?
Emily and Brennan. This was a wild ride. So we start with Emily and Claire, because Claire has to be on our screens
always,
every episode, even though she's not part of the process, the experiment anymore. So they're gabbing together. They say, Claire says it's been lonely, but there's a little bit of Cameron and Claire. She says, it's been a little lonely, but I've taken this time to explore myself. And she says she has been talking to Cam. He does sound like himself, but she thought. And, she talks about how sad it is that she thought that she would have a long-lasting marriage, and how sad it is that it's ending the way that she didn't want it to end. Emily says, well, I can't imagine being alone like you. I can imagine Brennan not being here. I wouldn't want to do it on my own like you, Claire. Now, let's remember, Emily is still flying high at this moment because of positive Brennan after the accident. Claire says, so how is it going with you and Brendan? I mean, so, things are good. I just hope it can keep going. She says, I made dinner reservations for us to kind of, lightly touch on the subject of our relationship. And she says she does want him in her life and hopes it goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Hope is not a strategy. So they go to a nice steakhouse. In confessional, she says she has felt so happy. She never thought that they would be in this place before decision day. They do a cheers. Say cheers to surviving. Their food comes, and Emily compliments the presentation because Emily is super positive all the time. She's so nice. She's so, thanking of everything, saying everything's great. I think they put that in there just as like see, she's always positive, y'all. She's always saying nice, happy things. Remember that in a minute. So conversation comes around to D-Day. He says, so what are you thinking about decision day? She says, well, I feel a lot better about it now since the accident. She says, it really has brought us together. She says, I'm kind of happy I hit that tree. I said, Emily, stop. Emily, stand up, Emily. Do not be happy that you almost dying made this man treat you with any kind of
respect.
Warmth. Yeah, come on now. And she says, well, if me hitting a tree brought that out of you, I guess I'm happy to hit the tree. Stop it. He says, yeah, because before the accident, there's a big disconnect about what a friendship is. But since the accident, expectations have been high. And he says,
it was like record scratch.
Yeah, she gets the squint. She's like, I wasn't aware that we were establishing this was only a friendship. You didn't really communicate that. Now, in my mind, I'm like, I think he kind of did. I think he really, really did. Do you think? I feel like in all the expert meetings and all the meetings, like, yeah, we have to establish a friendship and separate that from a relationship. I feel like that's him telling her this is. I just feel like maybe Emily's not getting the message, but I feel like Brendan communicated the message pretty well.
He was lacking the clarity where for him things turned a new leaf. We're definitely friends. We might be good friends at this point, is what he's thinking. She hears turns a new leaf. We're back to married. Okay. We are on a great page. We can potentially say yes on decision day.
He's like, no. We are a friendship, and that's what he needed to grab her face in his hands. Listen. We are friends. We will only ever be friends. Nothing more. Got it? That's what Emily needed, apparently. Because she says, you did not communicate that to me at all. He says, well, I thought that my actions communicated that by not sleeping in the same bed with you, not, doing all this stuff. He thought he communicated that to him. She says, well, she's like, I'm not a mind reader because, you said that your ex wasn't a mind reader. Well, you said you thought your ex was a mind reader and you hated that. So, okay, with the digs, okay, with the sliding that in there.
See, that's how I felt about how Asta brought up her exes. I felt that same energy.
She says, it's a pretty big deal not to tell me that, especially since we're on a show about being married. So, okay. He says, yeah, but I've still been trying. She says, she doesn't feel that way. She says, after the honeymoon, you put your guard up and you never gave it a chance. Now comes classic Brendan trying to steer it. Well, can't we just talk about what we learned from this?
Right.
And he says, but I do feel like my efforts aren't being acknowledged. Acknowledge me, Emily. Say I did some good things. We were doing so good with you being so positive about me. Now you're talking nonsense again. She says, listen, most girls wouldn't have stuck through this. And if I didn't think that growth was possible, without me hitting a tree, I wouldn't have stayed here. He says, did you stay or did you have to convince me to stay? She says, yes, I did convince you to stay because I didn't think it was fair for you to take this experience away from me. I said, okay, Alyssa.
I know. I was like that. Yeah.
I see you. He tells her, listen, I stayed And that proves that I put you before me because I wanted to go and you wanted me to stay. He says, if I had to listen to you, you wouldn't have almost died. And then Brennan puts on the best performance this side of Denzel Washington. He says, I almost lost you. And it was not worth almost losing you to stick this out.
It was not. I almost lost you. It was not worth almost losing you to stay married. Okay? I didn't want to marry you. I didn't want to stay married to you. I want to be barely friends. And I almost lost you.
This was the start of the ridiculousness out of Brennan. This was the start of it. Acting as if you care an iota about this girl. Like why are you doing this? Because this is not it, Brennan. This is not it. And Emily says, well, listen, you can't put those two things together because without the accident, we wouldn't be in a good place as we are now. So that doesn't make any sense.
He was thinking, crap, you got me there.
So their food gets delivered. And listen, I like a nice steak. I like a nice medium steak. This thing,
the cow was in the back.
This thing was still moving. Okay. I said, oh my, he goes, that rare enough for you? I was like, damn. And I looked and I said, dang, they just butchered that thing 2 minutes ago. Golly.
What temperature do you prefer?
I'm a medium well person.
Okay, I'm a medium.
I have evolved from a well done person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I discovered flavor. And I said, oh, this is good. Yeah. I like this. My wife is a well done person. I have to burn her stuff if I make her stuff.
Yeah.
And it has to be gray. There could be no blood, no pink, no nothing.
Not
so you can imagine
gray.
how hard it is to whip up food for both of us here. And, my daughter gets what my daughter gets. Like
she's like, actually, I want medium rare.
You get what you get. But yeah, that thing was still moving on her plate. I said,
yes, it was. That was it. Yes, I thought that exact thing. I couldn't.
Yeah. So okay, we get the food. He says, "This looks so good." He's, I just want to take some time to eat. And she says, "Wow, that really hurts my feeling that you don't want to talk about this." He says, "No, I just want to eat for 5 minutes. I just want to eat." So they start eating. I said, "Brendan, I thought you would just want to eat."
He's
because
like,
now Brendan is just being very passive aggressive, non-verbally. He's shaking his head. He's like, just shaking his head all over the place. I said, "Now, Brendan, stop it." And he's eating aggressively, like cutting his food up so you can hear it on the plate. She says, listen, it's not worth going round and roundabout, but I have given my all and you haven't given your all. And I want you to actually speak on that. He says, well, in the real world, here we go with the real world with Brennan again. He says, in the real world, you would go on a date, 1 date a week, figure out if you want to be together after a couple months. He says, but we were together 24/7. And I felt like I saw every side of you in a fast amount of time. And I saw some red flags that I didn't like. She's like, okay, what are these red flags? He says, well, lack of romantic chemistry. Mm-hmm. And for me, a big deal breaker is someone, I want someone to be super positive and you were just very negative.
That set her off.
That was a wrong thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
She says, what? I am the most positive person there is. There's no negativity. There's none. He says,
I thought she was not supposed to be doing anything to raise her blood pressure.
Man, well, I don't listen. She seemed like she is fully healed from this thing because there's no evidence that this thing happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, she says, I'm the most positive person there is. He says, well, listen, use the word hate a lot. And I feel like that's just very negative. And let's not forget how you trashed Michael and Chloe's wedding vows. So we get the flashback to what Emily said about their vows, how it was vanilla, how it was, not as exciting as she wanted it to be. So like, come on. He says, I can't believe you took something so beautiful and made it so negative. And it's just too much for me.
Because he's just Mr. Positivity.
Right. And she says, the disconnect comes from the fact that you can't see how positive of a person I am. That means you don't know me at all. He says, well, you just always using that hate word. You're just always saying you hate stuff. She gets very emotional. She gets up and she leaves. Brent, like, what do you
You're at a loss for words.
I think Brendan just wants a yes woman. He wants a trophy wife.
Yes.
He wants someone that's just gonna go, because I think this whole negative thing is coming from the fact that she speaks up about the crap
Anything.
that he spews. I think that's where the negative thing is coming from. And I think all this, you say the word hate so much, is a bunch of BS.
It really, I mean, obviously it's a cop out. He is saying this because it's like, for one, he's trying to put himself in a better light. Like, oh, this is something that, I am a good person and this is dragging me down. So it's like, if he paints this picture, then it looks good in the optics. It looks good to us watching the show that, oh, that makes sense. He just didn't want a negative person around. That I get it. But it's annoying because he's always trying to find any and every reason besides the fact that he just doesn't like her. And he won't say that. And so he's using, and that's what even annoyed me too. So, do you know how hard this is for me to say? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were the victim here. He's just, yes, I do agree. He wants a trophy wife. He wants someone who is not going to hold him accountable for anything, who just exists and is sweet and unassuming. Like that's all he wants.
Totally. So we get with Emily. She's in the bathroom, sitting on the bathroom floor.
Whew.
I said,
that is gross.
I said, girl, you got your bare legs on this bathroom floor. If you don't get up off the floor, just this nasty floor. And she's
I just
crying.
hope that's just how upset she was. She was like, that wasn't even a thought.
Something tells me she does this a lot in bars, like clubs.
See, I'm the type of person, like, if I touch the outside air for an extended period of time, I don't care if it's going to the grocery store, like, I am not getting my bed without a shower that night. Like, if there's any exposure, and the only other time that I wouldn't shower at night is if I did not expose myself to the elements, and I'm going to the gym in the morning, so I'm going to work out after the gym. So I'm gonna have my morning shower. So that I was like, oh. I froze in my tracks. I saw her on the floor.
There was a lot. So she's crying. She's talking to her producer. I said, huh. It just gave me flashbacks to Lindsay. It really did.
Yes.
To Lindsay from Boston. She's talking to her producer. She said, and the producer's like, oh, she says, I'm shocked. I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he told you that you were negative. Meanwhile, we get shots of Brendan just out there sitting, just waiting for her to come back.
Yeah, well, might as well pull my phone.
Yeah, obviously semi-annoyed that she's wasting his time, making him sit there. She says, I had no idea that he thought that me saying hate so much was such a red flag for him. She says, that means he has no idea who he is. So he would describe me as negative. I can't believe he said that. She says she wants to know all the red flags. She wants to know more. Now that she knows there is no shot, she wants to know everything. She wants to know it all. She comes back, she sits back down at the table, she orders more booze.
The producer said, I would never say that about you.
Never. I can't believe he said that. Go give him a piece of your mind, girl.
She's like, let's get out of here.
Go get your dignity back. She goes back out. She goes back out. She orders more drinks. He's like, and he looks exasperated. He's like, oh, I thought we were leaving.
She's
I thought this
back.
was it.
I know. She said, what she said? She wanted another Malbec. I was
Yeah,
like,
she wanted another Malbec. He's like, oh my
like,
God.
are
You're
we
staying
not
here?
leaving?
Come on. Thought you had left. She says, so what are the other red flags? What are the rest? He says, you know, and the fact, and she tells him, the fact you think that about me means you don't know who I am as a person. He says, and this is where he says, "Listen, it's hard for me to say these things. I don't want to hurt your feelings." He says, you know, I feel like the accident brought about more positivity for you. She says, maybe it felt more positive because you weren't being a jerk to me. You weren't upsetting
Right.
me. So I had no reason to be mad.
Yeah.
Which is such a great point. Which is such like, yeah, Brennan, that's a cause and effect, right? You're not being a dick because she is hurt. So now she's happier. But when you are a dick, that makes her less happy and
He's
upset.
like, you're so pleasant.
Huh, that's weird. It's like the accident knocks some sense into you, like knocks some positivity into you. Boy. She says, people say that one of my top characteristics is how positive I am. He says, well, listen, Emily, I'm just trying to tell you how I feel.
He basically said, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You're negative to me.
Listen, you say the word hate all the time. I don't like it. He says, well, you never told me it meant that much to you. He says, well, I did talk to you about being negative. She's like, yeah, but I didn't think it meant that much. It's like, okay, we're just kind of splitting hairs here.
Right. I mean, because like, okay, the vows comparison, like that supported his claim of like, okay, she's negative about a situation, but that did not strike me as Mrs. Debbie Downer. That striked me as we're sitting in a group. I'm trying to make people laugh. I'm trying to be like, make a like light of, you know, we're just waiting for them. And so she's pointing out things.
It felt like an observation, like a one-off observation. Like, you know, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. Like, she wasn't like, man, they are trash. Did you hear that? They are awful. I hate them. It wasn't even that. It was like, wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. A little vanilla.
Right.
As if she just totally just threw them under the bus. It's like, they're awful. They're scum. As she says something like that.
You know what a negative person would have done? Would have been stayed complaining about this accident. Would have stayed making it everyone's problem. Would have gone back to the retreat and constantly complained. Emily act like nothing happened. She was there needing to be home resting.
This is the same woman that, number one, hurt her wrist on the honeymoon and was like, I'm good.
Oh,
Let's keep having fun. No problem here. Had so much fun, got a rat's nest up in her head, and was still like, it's okay, we'll just cut it out, we'll keep going. Like, you're saying this girl is negative? Come on, wake up, man.
Like he just wants her to stroke his ego.
Yes, that's the
just
problem.
take what he can give.
That's the problem. That's what he wants. He wants someone that's just going to say yes to him and not cause him any grief, not cause him any trouble. He wants to come home, have dinner on the table. He don't want to hear about her day. Just be his wife and be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't complain. That's what he wants. That's what he means when he says negative. That she calls him on his BS. That's what being negative is.
Yep.
And it's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, can we just talk about more of the positives, like so we can get enough footage on camera so that hopefully they cut all the rest of that stuff out and just focus on the positive conversation.
Right.
She says no, there are no more positives. She says this is the most hurt that I felt this entire time. And so we leave the dinner scene. We come back to a confessional from her. She says, this is the next day. She says, after dinner, Brennan decided to go back to his house for the night. It's very hurtful. It makes me sad that we didn't get to focus on the positives. And just when she thinks things can get any worse, they always do. And because Claire didn't get enough screen time, Claire comes back. And her and Emily are talking again. This is the second Emily and Claire conversation we've seen this episode.
But this one was very clear that they had already been crying.
Yeah, probably.
No, it like literally both of their eyes were like red and puffy. And I was like, I wonder if she had already broken the news to her.
The bitch like, you did that without us here on camera? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Like, we need to get this on camera. Let's go.
Because they literally have both already been crying.
I didn't clock that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
But Claire does. Emily does tell Claire about the dinner and what happened. Claire says, "Yeah, we've both been through a lot, but there is something that I feel like I have to tell you at this point." She tells Emily, "Listen, Brennan does not respect you at all." She says, "I heard through the grapevine that Brennan asked Cam to go on a double date, and that he has been going on dates." I said, "Producers, did we manipulate that? Are we talking about Cam or are we talking about Brennan here?" I feel like that was a weird chop up, but either way, Claire says, "Listen, he is not a good guy." And Claire says she's upset that Emily thinks he ever had her best interests at heart. Emily says, "Thank you for telling me this. It confirms what I've been feeling the whole time, and that she's been trying to look past those things, but she believes that in the way that he talks to her, that he just does not respect her." Claire says, "Listen, you deserve to be loved and heard and not diminished to make him feel better." Emily says, "This all sucks, but she feels validated with where she's been feeling now, knowing this information." Claire says, "It's sad for him not realize how awesome you are." Emily says, "If it's going to end this way, then it needs to end." And that's the end. That's that scene. This was an interesting revelation, but I feel like we didn't get enough information about this.
Right. Like, I heard he's been trying to go on a double date with Cameron, meaning it didn't happen. And then
is that a revelation that Cameron has been going out on dates? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I thought Cameron was sick in bed, couldn't get up and go anywhere. Like, but let me find out, Cameron been going on dates this whole time.
He's like, "Give me some time, and then we can go on a double date."
He gets a call from producer. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just in bed.
I'm sick.
I can't film now. I can't raise my heart rate." Hangs on the phone. He's at like a club.
You're
Just
right.
like with some lady like dancing like, "Who is that? Don't worry about it. Not important." Cam, you sly dog. You sly dog. But that was that was interesting. I would like to know more about this and like the specifics.
I know, because maybe they cut some out, or cut some details out, because I feel like we would have more details on if he did go. Like, he's been on 3 dates. He's been telling Cameron all about it.
Yeah. Let's hear from Cameron about this. And then so after this, there's commercials, right? I see this commercial for this movie. It's starring Denise Richards, first of all.
Okay.
Okay. It's a movie about seemingly these wives are in the wilderness and their husbands are like watching them on closed circuit TV in the wilderness and having bears attack them and having like them brave the wilderness as they watch. It's called Hunting Housewives.
What?
Yes. Now, I'm gonna pop this on you and like on camera. I think we should do a one-off about this movie. I really do.
Oh my gosh. That sounds absurd.
Yeah, that's why we should talk about it.
Oh my.
Come on now.
Well, we do think that Decision Day might be a little light.
Yeah. Yes.
So maybe, when does it come out?
I don't know.
Oh, see, we don't have enough information to lock anything in.
Hold on. Well, I mean, there's this thing called the internet that I can look at.
I have no access to it right now.
Uh-huh. Hunting Housewives, Lifetime. March 9th it releases.
Oh, okay. So next week.
Let us know if you want us to watch Hunting Housewives. If we get enough interest, maybe do it. Maybe.
Like,
if I can convince Asia to do it.
15 minutes at the end of this podcast.
Oh gosh. Whatever. All right. Anyway, I was like, this is crazy.
That sounds absurd.
Have we run out of premises?
Ideas? Someone thought of this and they said, that's it.
Yeah.
The market hasn't seen this.
Man. Anyway, back to the show. Emily and Brendan. So we come back. We then see Emily calling Brendan on FaceTime And for some reason, Brennan has no shirt on. What the hell?
He's just in bed, sleep.
What is this? Did you not know this call was coming?
Could you tell Brennan had no idea this entire conversation was on camera?
And here's the thing. I think maybe Emily had I think Claire was taking this with her iPhone camera.
No, all you have to do is screen record.
No, but I mean when Emily was when we see
Emily,
in
the corner.
Yeah, because this didn't feel like an official camera. This felt like an iPhone camera.
I mean, hey. It depends on which iPhone she has, because quality. Some of these commercials shot by iPhone look amazing.
Yes. But I feel like Emily and Claire were like, we're gonna get him, girl. Like, I'm gonna you surprise call him.
Screen record.
Yeah, and I'm
like, it doesn't notify. I mean, it notifies when you take a picture, but it doesn't notify if you're screen recording, I guess. Because we had a very clear. It was straight from her phone. So you're right. Maybe that was clear.
She's like, we gonna get him. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit record. You call him. So Emily confronts him about the whole double date thing. She says that, she can't believe he would do something so stupid, but she wants to hear his side. She wants to hear his reasoning. He says, that's just not true. None of that is true. But he's like, well, I was just joking. I was joking.
And says, that's a TikTok right now. Joking. I'm joking. It was on this show. What's it called? With a comedian. It's on Netflix. So it's this like sitcom. It's called I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Oh, I love that show.
Okay, there's the scene where the older guy, it's going, like, the sound is going viral on TikTok right now, where the older black guy's at dinner with him. He's like, give me that.
Oh, the steak. Yeah. He's like, yes.
Give me that. He said, joking. I'm joking.
Dude, I love that show. That show is so funny.
Oh yeah, y'all should go watch it. If you yes, go. It's on YouTube too. Just look up. What did I just looked up? Joking, I'm joking. But it's on. If you look up joking, I'm joking. The YouTube video that comes up first is the one. He's like, give me that. I want some of that.
There's your Tic Tac corner of the episode, everybody. So he says, listen, I was just joking. I mean, said, well, it doesn't seem like a joke if Cameron called Claire to talk to her about it. He says, listen, you just have so much against me anyway. You just want to roast me on TV. He says, listen, the negativity is what caused us to have no chance of anything between us. And you are the most negative person I have ever met. And this is where it starts getting.
This is the real Brennan.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, which should tell you he had no idea what's going on. She says, "Well, you take no accountability for anything, and you saying that I'm negative is only because I call you out on your BS." She calls him stupid again, and she says, "Listen, I am not your puppet. I've tried to see the positive in you, but I am done. You did this to yourself." And you can't say it's because of what I did, because we are married and you're out here trying to date people. He says, how could you say this stuff when I saved your life?
The way I said, are you kidding me? That's what he thinks. He thinks he's this hero. He's holding this over her head. I saved you, girl. Why are you being mean to me?
You were hanging on by a string, and I brought you back from the brink of death. I saved your life. She says, you are so manipulative. She says, you have no awareness, and there's no way this will come down on me, and anyone would have done the same thing you did. He says, well, no one did they?
They weren't there, you big
says, no one was there to have the chance to. He says something, but they cut it out. He's like, what? And she tells him, you did not save my life.
He truly believes he did. That's his biggest moment of the past 5 years.
And honestly, there were a lot of other people there. There were camera crew. There was a bunch of people there. We saw them when it was happening.
And
They were all there.
And does he not understand? They are the subjects of this show. They're not going to break, like, okay, you're taking care of it perfect. Like, it's an emergency situation, but we're going to let that happen while this chaos is happening. Not like anybody would have saw that happening if he didn't go up to her and be like, oh, whew, hope she's okay.
There was a producer very close by. If Brendan wouldn't have jumped off his snowmobile, whatever the heck it was, a producer would have. Anyone else in earshot, sound person, producer, audio person, cameraman would have done it. This is not a nature documentary where the cameraman have to sit back and let life take its course. If a lion's getting is eating a gazelle, they're not going to stop him. It's not. This is not that. It's like, oh my God, she crashed. Somebody get over there and hold her head, which is what he did. He went over there. He put pressure on the head.
He thinks he gave her stitches.
He thinks he thinks he gave her CPR. He thinks that he, just saved her life.
He single-handedly drove her to the hospital. Mm-hmm. He performed the surgery. He did the stitches, and he removed the stitches. He checked in on her vitals.
Made sure she didn't have a concussion.
Right.
Took out a little light. All right, follow my light. Follow the light.
It's like, I keep one on me.
Yeah.
This statement alone from him that he saved her life was everything I needed to know about Brennan, as if we didn't already know.
It just shows how delusional this man
is. And she was right for him to call him manipulative. Like, what was that? Get out of here.
Get out of here. He says, listen, I'll come to get my stuff from the apartment. There's no reasoning with you, and I'll see you on D-Day. She hangs up. She says, I hate him.
Yeah. There's that hate
word. He says, see? That's what I'm talking about.
Right. She hates me. Now, why would she hate me?
What did I do to her?
I saved her life.
Saved that woman's life. So we do get the little get together with the girls. I said, can we please not put Chloe into this? Can we
the way Chloe was shocked at every statement because she's so out the loop because she hasn't made it in.
Shook and shocked. Honestly, and I'll talk about this a little bit before we even get to Mike and Chloe. I felt a different Chloe here in this episode because I feel like Chloe came in on this. She was like, "Man, I got it so good right now. Like what is my problem? Like this. I obviously got the best.
Okay, this is me. This got to be me."
Because I see what else I could be dealing with, and let me go to my man who is treating me right and act like I got some sense. So Chloe says, "I want to know everything that's going on, guys." So Emily starts filling her in on the whole. Brennan asked for a double date. Chloe's like, "Oh my God, really?" Emily talks about the dinner and how he just wanted to sit there and be positive, and he just wanted her to shut up. Becca's like, I can't believe one of our issues with you, Emily, is that you are too positive. Like, that's what we can say about you. Becca talks about Brennan making her delete diary cams if they were not
that's wild.
To his liking. I said, oh, wow. Okay, that is extremely manipulative. She talks about the fact.
Cut that.
Yeah, he said, nope, that's not good enough. You said a bad thing about me. We're going to cut that out. Give me the camera. Yeah. She says, and he also said he saved my life. Claire says, savior complex. I'm a therapist. I would know.
Yeah.
Savior complex. So Becca mentions these men are so concerned about the story and all the optics.
And Chloe's over there like, y'all's men.
Not this one. Not my man. My man may wear skirts, but he does not treat me disrespectfully. He don't care about
nobody's optics. Did you see the skirt he wore? He don't care about optics, but he's treating me right. He respects me. He communicates his feelings.
I don't know the feeling, ladies. I don't know what to tell you.
She's like,
can't relate.
Can't relate.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. So Brendan goes by to get his stuff, and Emily just kind of sitting there on the couch. just being all bitter, squinting her eyes like she likes to do, pursing her lips. He says, "Hey, what's up? I'm just gonna grab my stuff." Goes, packs his stuff. He barely has anything there, so
he fit his entire existence in a suitcase. It
it's
wasn't
like,
even like the big one.
yeah, it's
Like the
almost like he
medium
never spends
size.
time there, which I think he might not have spending time there. Who knows?
Yeah.
She goes and she gets his coat, she gets his shoes, she puts on a little chair for him, then goes sits back down. She's like, I just want to show him how ready I am for him to go. I'm gonna get his stuff ready for him. I'm gonna put him over here so I can tell him I don't care that he's leaving. Basically, what I took that to mean. She just sits back on the couch, waits while he's getting his stuff. He says, so you want to talk or anything? You want to talk for a second? She says, not really. He's like, yes. Like,
score.
yes. Because producers are like, you gotta go in there, you gotta say something. He's like, oh my god, so you want to talk about
really?
it? You want to talk about it? She's like, no. He's like, oh, really? You can just tell the excitement on his face. Like, all right, cool. So he gives her a little side hug. And he says, well, wish you the best. And he just takes off. It's almost like one of those cartoons. You can see Brendan outline the door. Yeah. He's out of there. In confessional, she says, she never thought this would end this way. And, she never thought he would do the things he did or lie about this, about everything. There's so much left to say, but and this is the end of Brendan and Emily, as we see Brendan doing his walk of shame with his one little suitcase of stuff. The only other thing we get from them is a diary cam where Emily's talking about decision day and the magnitude that it's going to have. Well, this is Brendan says this what the magnitude is going to have on his life. He says he wouldn't have done it with anyone else.
And he's like, well,
can't really say that's true anymore.
Yeah.
I said, boy, get out of here. And
I'm surprised he sent that in, then re-record it.
He's again, is he shirtless in this one? He's he might have had a shirt on this one. I don't know. He says, I wish you didn't have to make it this hard. Wish you could just had smooth sailing, and it's unfortunate that we are where we are.
Why'd she have to talk back?
Yeah, why'd she have to get all like rude and call me out on stuff? In confessional, Emily says she feels uneasy about seeing him on decision day, and she wants to make sure that she says what she needs to say, even though it may hurt him, it may hurt her. She doesn't want to leave decision day with any regrets, and she is scared of what will happen. That's Brendan and Emily, folks.
Yeah,
I can't imagine this being anything other than a double.
Absolutely, it's a waste of time to even try to. What could it be? Because why are they going to decision days? It's just this should be just a meeting with the experts. Don't call it decision day. That's a waste of time.
To just go over what went wrong.
Right, exactly. All right, so we have, last but certainly not least, Michael and Chloe.
Listen, y'all, this is how much Aysha hated the Brendan and Emily part of this episode. Because she volunteered to take Michael and Chloe with all of the sex stuff going on. We all know how prudish Aysha can be.
I just look at it as modest. Okay. This is not by any means an X-rated podcast, so we're going to keep things PG-13. Maybe.
That's what you think. Let's go. Let's talk about it. I've been waiting for this. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
This is my favorite episode.
You're almost your own voice.
It's the best episode of the season. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. So we're day 14 of Michael and Chloe's marriage, because we're running on 2 different timelines right now. We gotta say,
I think you mean day 69.
Oh my God. We do find out that Dr. Pia is visiting. So we have been so consistent. I think with the exception of the retreat episodes, there has been an expert, mostly Dr. Pia, there every episode this season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, that just tells you how bad this season's been, is in terms of they need this intervention, because we are trying to salvage this thing.
Yes,
it ain't working, but they're trying. We can't sit here this season and say the experts didn't try, because they definitely tried. Yes.
So Dr. Pia walks in looking great per usual. The dogs are excited. She sits down. Mello actually got in her lap. I said, I wonder, did she invite Mello in her lap or Mello jumped up there? Just questions I need answers. Okay, Jason?
Yes, these are the important. These are the hard-hitting questions that need answers.
So Chloe says things have been really good. Michael says that, they've had this positive momentum right out the gate. So they're trying to hold on to that. Dr. Pia asked them, like, are they presenting their best selves to each other every day? And Chloe's like, we haven't had that luxury. I've never had this depth in conversation, even in my long-term relationships. And she's like, and there's an intensity here that allows us to be, that lets us be who we are. And Michael's like, well, I do want to say that, like, there's still space to try to be they're still in a space where they're trying to be their best selves. But, like, there are times, like, in between napping that he's like, I need to get in a little nap. That's okay.
Yes, because the only version of your best self is when you take a nap.
Awake.
Okay, Michael. Okay. He's like, well, sometimes one of my fatal flaws is that, I just need a nap every now and then.
He wants to be present. He can't be present if he's napping.
This guy.
You're so over him.
Over it.
He's great. Okay. So Dr. Pia, she was like, does, like, not being your best self all the time prevent you from being vulnerable with her? He's like, well, when you're vulnerable in a marriage, you're empowering the other person to be able to hurt you the most and trusting that they won't. And I've had that confidence in her to empower, I have had that confidence to empower her in that way.
That sentence should have been over 12 words ago.
He has a way with words. I'd prefer that than, I'm sorry you feel that way. Just wait until if he has to have an opportunity to apologize about something.
Oh gosh. Listen, I need a nice middle ground in between the Austin and the Michael, okay? Because on either side of the extreme, I can't get with it.
Oh my goodness. I actually had to rewind to capture this quote correctly. I said, did he say you to empower the other person to hurt you? He did. Dr. Pia was like, well, this is interesting because I actually did both of y'all's home visits. So that was fun. And we get a flashback to Chloe keeping a certain type of toy under her pillow.
Oh, what kind of toy? Is it a action figure? Is it
like a Barbie?
Is it a yo-yo? Is it a what kind of toy is it, Aysha? I need a little more context of what we're talking about.
Just like a handy dandy toy for her.
Handy dandy.
That's all I'm at liberty to say.
I just don't know what you're saying. I feel like for the listeners and for the viewers that haven't watched the episode, because we know we have a lot of
they get
those,
what I'm saying.
I don't know. I feel like you should be a little more specific.
Okay, Pastor Cal.
Say it.
Dr. Pia asked them, like, how's it going in the intimacy, like the sexual intimacy department? And I like that she clarified, because if she hadn't, Michael would have gone on and on about emotional intimacy.
I think intellectually we are close to a level that maybe would be acceptable for two people that decided to get married.
Yeah.
But as far as, I don't know if you mean of a sexual nature, but I think we are on the way to becoming comfortable enough where we are both vulnerable and both ready to go to that next level, that next step of our intimacy and actually engage in marital coitus.
Look, Michael would look at you and say, hey, young chap, let me speak how I speak. You forget he's your elder.
Is he?
He's 39.
Okay. Barely. But all right.
Which means he's probably 40 by now.
Hey,
They filmed
that's
this
true.
last year. So when Dr. Pia asked about the sexual intimacy department, Michael looked at Chloe to let her answer. So she said, well, I've told him I do need to have an emotional connection first. She's like, we're both physical touch people. And so we are rapidly moving forward. He says, we're exploring each other. Cut to
Bruh. Bruh.
Why did they show? What if I was watching this show with someone who didn't need to be seeing this?
Bruh. Oh my goodness.
Is this the most explicit thing they've ever shown?
I think possibly.
This isn't Love is Blind. This isn't The Ultimatum. We don't get those like innuendos, whatever, like, or even blurred moment. This was a straight up, we're spying on you guys and we're going to show all the way up until we need to blur.
This was a porn. This was like
I said,
damn near.
How did this get approved to be on Lifetime?
I said Aysha's poor innocent eyes.
What's happening?
No. Meanwhile, Pastor Cal's like looking at the he's looking at the rough cuts, right? He's like he looks up, he's like, oh my God. It's finally happening.
A tear falls.
Oh my God. Chloe, thank you so much. He calls, he's like, I need the rough cuts of all of the apartment footage for Michael and Chloe immediately. How can I get the non-blurred version? I know y'all have it. Give it to me. I need it.
The non-blurred version. I can't.
They showed her hand going into this man's pants. There is no doubt.
They were sitting on the couch. They were in their living room. They showed that.
And then they kept it there and just blurred out the movements that were happening within the pants.
Because Michael saying, oh, we're exploring each other's body wasn't enough. He said, oh, no, we hooked up those Nest cameras. We're going to show y'all what he means by that. What? Really?
And listen, and then they take us to another scene, which I'm assuming is later in that.
A few minutes later, maybe.
I think I know what was happening there. I
thought he was giving her a massage.
Maybe he was giving her front parts a massage. Because I feel like there was some, I don't know if there was some chest touching of him to her. I don't know. I'm not positive what was happening there because they blurred a lot of it out.
What are we watching? I think this is, where have we come?
What's the problem, Aysha? I see no issue. This is what we need. We need more of this in this show. This is what I've been trying to get on this show.
We literally go from 3 disasters. Couldn't even go to the 4th one because they are done.
Done.
And then they're like, okay, our one couple that's a success. Let's give y'all way too much.
Way too much. So much.
I myself was flabbergasted.
Oh, no.
I clutched my pearls.
Pepper, cinnamon, get out of here. You shouldn't be watching this.
Oh, I was shocked. Okay. So we did get that. Because they needed us to have that context. They needed us to have hope in one couple.
Was so cool.
Yes. It was Lifetime After Dark.
This is amazing. It really was. I said, wow. And honestly, I was more impressed than anything with Chloe. I said, wow, you're really going for it. You try to shut us up. Because we've been saying,
like,
Chloe's
oh, what's wrong with
fake. Chloe
Chloe?
not in this.
Yeah.
She says, I'll show you how much I'm in it. I'm all the way in it. I'm all the way in them pants.
Yeah, and we physically
Good
saw
job,
that.
Chloe. Good job, Chloe. I knew that you were the right one to give me what we needed, what I needed. God, oh, Chloe, you don't know how bad I needed this season, Chloe. You don't know.
You know how mad he was that he wasn't this expert?
He said, I need to see Michael and Chloe every expert visit from now on. We got another month of some change with them. I need to see where their journey is going.
He said, you found out what? We're going to reshoot it. Y'all cut that one. I'm going to ask the same exact questions.
They said, the producer's like, Pastor Cal keeps calling me and asking me if he can get uncut footage of Nest cams. You know what's going on there? I need that footage real bad. Strictly for expert purposes. I need to know what's going on with these couples, so I need uncut footage to know how to help them. That's the only reason I ask. The only reason. Nothing else. Nothing dirty. Nothing sexual. I just need it. Can you email it to me? Can you get me a live stream?
Oh my goodness.
I'll pay you.
Dr. Pia does ask what's next. Chloe says bomb chicka wow wow. Michael says they're just making sure that right now they're trying to make sure they can sustain that emotional connection. And they do tell her, like when she asks, they do tell her that they are comfortable being naked around each other. Chloe says she doesn't even sleep with clothes on. So there's that. Then Dr. Pia out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, unprompted. No one was even thinking about this. No one thought this was going to be the next question that she asked. So she goes, have y'all?
Yes. Ask it, Dr. Pia. Ask it, please.
Have y'all beep with each other yet?
Not beep. Aysha. You just ruined the whole mood. Not beep.
This is not an X-rated podcast.
We are all adults here, okay? We are all adults.
We don't know
here.
that. We're not looking at everybody's viewing area.
Gosh. OMG.
What did she say? What did she ask if you need it to be said?
She came in and said, as if she's saying, hello, how do you do?
Yeah, literally. She said it in the same tone as someone would say, hey, how are you?
Yeah. Hey, just one chance, have y'all masturbated together yet? Just came out the gate.
I said, what?
What is happening here? What? Yeah,
Michael.
That's right. She asked it. Listen, she called me before she went in there, and I told her, we gotta get this thing jump started. Ask them. Do it.
Michael's like, well,
no, put me on speakerphone. Don't tell them I'm listening. I want to hear it all. I heard there's some nasty stuff going on in that apartment. And I want more. Can we get the Nest Cam in the bedroom?
They said done.
Strictly for my expert purposes.
They said we don't need to. Clearly.
I need it.
Right. Well, Michael, in response, says they haven't yet, but he's not opposed. So she gives them homework to get 3 items. Go to a sex shop, get 3 items to have fun with.
An adult novelty store, Aysha. You pervert. A sex store. My gosh. An adult novelty store. My gosh, your mind's in the gutter.
Oh my gosh.
Goodness gracious.
Oh.
A sex store.
Yeah. So homework is 3 items. So they go. Michael says on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being ultra freak, 1 being vanilla wafer. He's about a 6.3. So
Okay.
it's like, okay. They look around the store. There's a lot of just playfulness. They see some edible body scrubs. There was one that was a glazed donut flavor. He was like, "Ooh, do you have a maple bar flavor? Because that's what I would be if I was a donut." She thought this was so weird. What? What is he talking about? What?
First pearls and now a maple bar. Oh my gosh, this guy.
And then we get a confessional. He's of her. She's having a lot of fun watching him explore. And he puts this sleeve like on his arm, and she thinks it's the funniest thing ever. She can't stop laughing.
She's dying laughing. Are you okay, ma'am?
You would have thought she was listening to this podcast.
You know. Corey, if you're out there, just give us a call.
So if she likes it, I love it. She thought that was great. The comedic chops on this guy.
I need someone more experienced than me. Maybe Pastor Cal's out there to tell me what he was doing. I don't know what this was. A little hand thing he was. Do I want to know? Do I? Or
I don't
regret
think that I
knowing?
do.
Yeah, that was weird. He's like, you like this? It's like, what is that supposed to be? Like, cupping his hand in a weird way. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So they're back home. They go to bed, and they're starting to open the toys. They look at one toy. She smells it. They have to blur it because it's explicit. We get a confessional from her. She says sex
Cal
toys
says,
are.
I got. That's an old model. That's not. You know, if you really want to take it up a notch, you got to get the new one. I got. I can give you some tips.
Oh my god!
Just came out last week.
She says
there's a lot more for you, Michael. There's a lot more for you. Trust me. Invite me over. I'll show you.
I am not trying to sit in this longer than we have to.
I want to make you sit in longer than I have to.
We get a confessional. She says sex toys are out of the norm, but Michael seems to be very receptive, and she's happy that he is as open as she is. They ask,
"You about to be real open, Chloe? You about to be real open?"
Oh my gosh! And so he, the toy that they have opened, he asks if he can name her Penelope, and she was like, "Why Penelope?" It's like it's like a cute name. But they have to charge it. And they said, okay, 5 minutes, and then we'll get to work.
Can we talk about the fact that there are earbuds in this thing? There's some sort of audio.
Yeah.
Pastor Cal, welcome.
Right in their ears.
Guided experience.
They're like, this voice sounds eerily familiar.
I'm gonna walk you through the most pleasurable night you've ever had.
Oh my gosh.
Marriage ain't for punks. Neither is this sex toy. Get ready.
Oh my gosh. So yes, they are preparing the toy. They're like, well, give it 5 minutes and then we'll get to work. And she feels like a kid on Christmas. She's so excited.
Gonna get to work. Oh man, that was so awesome. I love I love the cameraman just sitting there in the bedroom as the lights are off. They're in bed. Chloe's probably buck ass naked under that robe he got on, and they're just sitting there like, "All right, go ahead, start. We'll leave before it gets real hot and heavy, but we just got to show it starting. So go ahead."
Right? Don't worry, we got the Nest cameras for the rest.
Pascal's got a live feed to his house, so he'll be able to tell us the good parts. And then they pan out of the apartment. You just hear kissing, and you hear random moaning from now. Listen, if they come back and they tell us that no sexy time happened here, I'm gonna be upset.
Okay.
Because they can't keep pucking us like this. I need some consummation. Okay. This isn't Pastor
I
Cal
wouldn't
talking. This is
look.
me talking.
This is Jason. I wouldn't be surprised for some. I don't know. For some reason, I just could see them seeing this as a night to just continue to explore, but not go.
But I mean, what is the holdup? Like we're
He
doing some
he
things.
looked at her like she was the holdup. That she
Like,
needed this emotional connection first.
you don't need an emotional connection to do the other stuff she was doing. I mean, we got hands down the pants. Like what? Come on.
I don't know. So, yeah, we're not getting their decision day next week. We're getting it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, something
Or
around
4
there.
weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
No, I'm not gonna say that. That's a little too personal. Let me just leave that where it lay. I just
leave that on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I was gonna get a little.
What would you rate them? 1 being we think they'll not be together by decision or the reunion. 10, we do think 5, we do think they'll be together.
Honestly, I feel like I see a new light to them. I feel like I see a new chemistry. I feel like I see a new, like, at ease the two of them have with each other.
Like let down the walls a little bit.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna jack this thing up to a 4. Like, give me a 4. Like I'm feeling okay about them right now.
Okay. I was at a 2 last week, so I'm gonna go up to a 3. I am feeling good. I feel like she's kind of like loosened up a little bit.
Yeah.
And is not letting little things, I guess, interfere with the things that she does like about him.
She letting some big things interfere, if you know what I mean.
Stop that laugh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean
she let big things do big things, you know what I mean? I think she got to see something that really let her walls down, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my God. Look, I will be happy if we come back and they have consummated their marriage and they're just thriving.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm just also this season, like no other couple has gotten close to where Michael and Chloe are now, and they're only 2 weeks in.
Not even sniffing it. Like it's not even like. Well, I should have said that. Say it again. They have not gotten even a millimeter as close as they are.
Right.
And I feel like I'm ready to see some more from the season for them, because I feel like we don't really have a lot of preview stuff from them ever.
I know. I'm like, maybe we'll get more of a focus after these other couples get out the way, but watch, Claire gonna have more scenes for no reason.
Yep. Like I feel
Orion's
like
gonna come back.
Yeah, I feel like after
is that his name?
Onion. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like after the decision day of these couples, we're going to get basically the where are they now for them. And while Michael and Chloe are still doing their thing. So I don't know what that means for the post reunion episodes of this. I'm just very curious about where we go from there.
Ugh. Okay. Well, thank y'all for sticking with us. This is a ridiculous episode.
This is an awesome episode. I really enjoyed this episode. It gave a lot of drama. It gave a lot of fun. It gave a lot of weirdness. I'm all for it. Like I really
was
like this
talking
episode.
about this episode of the podcast.
Same. Still stands. When I said still applies.
Oh, I'm glad to be done with the Chloe and Michael segment.
So impure.
Ooh.
You're gonna go take a shower right after this. I must clean myself.
That is. We will be back next week to talk about episode 20, which is decision day for the other singles. and then we'll see what else happens. But yes, thank y'all for sticking with us. Make sure you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. Make sure you go leave us a 5-star rating review. Make sure you go join the Facebook group where we have a lot of fun. We'll talk. I'll post that. Joking, just joking. I'll post that video in the Facebook group. And yeah, we just have a lot of we have a lot of dialogue in there, and there's a lot of Love is Blind talk in there right now. So come join us. Facebook password this week is Penelope. I love seeing old Facebook passwords because that just means people are catching up. So that's great. So yes, Jason, where can people find you these days?
You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. Got some podcasts that have been coming out and are going to be coming out soon. I was on the recap kickback with Chappelle and with Mari, where we talked about the top 5 Black sitcoms of all time. It was a very fun podcast, also a very contentious podcast. As you can imagine, that topic, a lot of people feel a lot of different ways. So that was very interesting. Go check that out if you can. Also, of course, I'm talking Love is Blind on the same feed that you get this here podcast. I'm talking about it with Mary Kwiatkowski. We just dropped episodes 10 and 11. So go check that out. The finale is coming up fast. So check that out as well. You can also find me this week coming up on the 90 Day Fiance or RHAPup with Puya, talking about that dumpster fire of a show. So check that out as well. I think that's about it. Yeah. So find me in those places.
Busy man.
Busy. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha like Asia. That's AYSHA like ASIA. And yeah, catch me here every week talking about this season. We're in the home stretch, y'all. I think we only have a month left.
Only 10 more episodes.
Right. I can't believe we have been here, y'all, for 19 weeks. We went through Christmas. We went through Thanksgiving. Every week. Help us. What have you done for 19 weeks straight, y'all?
There are gunmen holding me hostage. Can we talk about this show?
Right. Make sure you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. Oh, all right. But so yes, please join us next week to talk about Decision Day. We'll see what these couples say. We'll see if there's any yeses. We'll see if there's one yes.
That's crazy. That's really nuts.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you for sticking with us.
The show's over. Can I go now? Can I go? Right now? Okay.
Bye, y'all.